Respondents' guilt. The suspension order stemmed from complaints filed by Senator Risa Ontiveros and former Senator Richard Gordon. Senator Risa Ontiveros welcomes the suspension order from the Ombudsman. In a statement, Ontiveros thanked the office for holding the respondents accountable. She also hoped that the Ombudsman would be able to identify the, quote, masterminds behind the alleged graft-laden procurement of pandemic supplies. Ontiveros was one of the senators who participated in the Blue Ribbon Probe. Meanwhile, the Department of Health said that it respects the decision of the Ombudsman. However, the DOH still recognized that the health officials tagged in the mess played a, quote, significant role in the pandemic response of the government. And the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas has raised key interest rates to 6.25%, matching market expectations as inflation continues to come in hot. The policy rate increase of 25 basis points follows the 50 basis point hike back in February and pushing borrowing costs to its highest level since 2007. What this means is that consumers wanting to take out loans will now have to pay higher interest charges. Inflation barely inched down to 8.6% in February from the 8.7% tallied in January. And in business, telco giant PLDT posted mixed earnings in 2022 after incurring a 48 billion peso budget overrun last year. Michelle Giliang with the details.
PLDT says it found no evidence of fraud or bad faith in the 48 billion peso budget overrun case which came to light last year. It attributed the overrun to overorders of 5G technology between 2019 to 2022. In a press conference Thursday afternoon, the telco giant also said the figure in question has been cut down to 33 billion pesos after negotiations with major vendors.
Our forensic review of the circumstances surrounding the CAPEX expenditure disclosed in the December 16, 2022 is substantially complete and identified no evidence of fraud, bad faith conduct on the part of any employee of the company, and no basis to restate the company's historical financial statements. So our 2022 audited financial statements is unqualified and no restatement.
PLDT Chair Manny Pangilinan also assured shareholders that the financial and operating conditions of PLDT remain strong and that they're not expecting a downgrade of their credit standing.
We're relieved that that is the case, and it's now incumbent upon management and the board to get back on the saddle and move forward and demonstrate that despite this big hump on the road, the financial and operating conditions of the company remain strong.
But the budget overrun did hit PLDT's bottom line. Net income plunged by 60% to 10.49 billion pesos last year, even as total revenues climbed 6% to 205.25 billion pesos. That was driven by strong performances in both its home and enterprise segments. Also, revenues from the fiber business shot up 45% on year to 48.5 billion pesos, with the telco booking 514,000 new subscribers last year. For this year, it's looking to spend between 80 to 85 billion pesos in capex, and CEO Al Panlilio says they're expecting revenue growth in the mid-single digits. Mobile journalist Michelle Giliang, We Are One News.
More stories still to come after this quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Leyte Congressman Richard Gomez says he was able to convince House Speaker Martin Romualdez to support charter change through a Constitutional Assembly or CONAS. Gomez made this claim in a press conference held by his political party, PDP Laban. The Leyte rep also noted that House Committee Chairman on Constitutional Amendments, Rufus Rodriguez, is likewise in favor of charter change through a CONAS. Recall that the lower chamber had already passed the bill, calling for charter change through a Constitutional Convention or CONCON to amend the Constitution.
Nung ni-report ko sa House Leader namin, yun na pag-usapan namin sa PDP, na ang pag-uusapan lang ho natin sa Constitutional Amendment, CONAS, Constituent Assembly, pumayag si Speaker. Nireport ko mismo kay Kong Rufus and he totally agree na sa BICAM na lang magkikita. In-explain ko sa kanya, sinabi ko sa kanya lahat at pareho din na sinabi ko kay Speaker. And sabi niya, perfect. Good. What is important is that the amendments should move.
And in sports, the PBA Governors Cup semifinals cast is complete after the TNT Tropang Giga and the Meralco Bolts advance to the next round. Marty Bautista with the story.
Serrano sets up Tyler Tio, fakes one dribble, pull-up jumper is good for two.
After a tight first half, the TNT Tropang Giga turned on the Jets in the third quarter against the Phoenix Fuel Masters in the PBA Governors Cup quarterfinals. TNT zoomed to a double-digit early in the second half before ending the third frame with a 100-83 lead.
Over R.R. Garcia, he locates a cutting Pogoy for that mid-range jumper.
The top-seeded Tropang Giga's offensive onslaught continued in the final quarter, where they led by as many as 28 points.
Mikey Williams, he was left open by Devon Maxwell.
Final score 132-105 in favor of TNT. 6 players for TNT scored in double figures, led by 25 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 steals from R.R. Pugoy. Import Ronde Hollis Jefferson finished with a triple-double, 18 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists. TNT head coach Jojo Lastimosa said the team played with a lot of frustration in the first half, which resulted in them only having a slim lead.
At halftime, we just said that we need to put the frustration level down. We cannot play frustrated basketball. And that's just all we did. They just needed to calm down and pick their spots and play their game.
Nice play here from Calvin Abueva.
Abueva with a takeaway, and he finishes strong with a layup.
In the other quarterfinal game, the Magnolia Hotshots and the Meralco Bolts needed extra time to determine who gets to continue their season. Aaron Black drained a tough jumper in distress at the buzzer to force overtime.
Aaron Black, they can call a timeout. They don't call it.
Oh,
it goes in for AB.
Will that count?
In OT, back-to-back threes from John Quinto and import KJ McDaniels in the final 2 minutes spelled the difference for Meralco as Magnolia never recovered.
With 4 to shoot. 3-point shot, it's gone.
Final, the Bolts survived 113-107. Chris Newsom was the high point man for Meralco with 33 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists, while McDaniels chipped in 27 markers.
Well, the balance is very important, that everybody gets involved offensively. KJ is not the type of guy that's going to score 45, 50 points a night, but he will give you 25 to 30. So we need the other locals to really step in and contribute. Luckily for us tonight, we had a lot of guys that were heroes tonight.
With that, the cast for the best-of-5 semifinals is set, and the action begins right away this Friday at the Inares Center in Antipolo. The San Miguel Beermen will take on the Barangay Ginebra Gin Kings at 3 p.m., followed by Meralco and TNT's matchup at 5:45 p.m. Catch the games live on TV5 and One Sports. For News 5, Marty Bautista, we are One News.
One News Now will be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News. All sides, all the time.